In this video, I'll be walking you through how you can migrate from Boomi to MuleSoft effortlessly using Curitech AI. Let's start with a quick look at Boomi side. For this demo, I'm using a sample project called Boomi NetSuite Salesforce Sync. Here you can see a repository that contains all the Boomi flows and the components. We also have several documents generated by Boomi GPT, which includes the high-level overview, the metadata of each process's error handling documentation, and mapping scripts, JSON configurations, etc. All of these artifacts have been captured, organized into a single repository folder, which we will use through the migration process. Now, before jumping into the migration itself, let's first understand what's being migrated and the scope of the migration. So here I'm navigating to the migration agents and selecting the Buildable Mule Flow Agent. I'm uploading the document folder that contains all the Boomi screenshots and assets. And then in the integration platform dropdown, I'll choose Boomi and then just click on submit. You can see the job running in progress, and after a few minutes, it generates a comprehensive migration assessment report. And here's the output. The application complexity is identified as medium. There's one endpoint identified in this project. And based on lift and shift approach, it found that there's one flow, whereas according to Mule API-led architecture, so there will be 4 flows identified, which can be migrated to MuleSoft. The report also details the interfaces detected in Boomi, the event types, the MuleSoft connectors that can replace the Boomi connectors, and a summary of the migration scope and effort. Now let's look at another powerful agent, the migration repo codelines. So here I am uploading the project and then I am selecting the integration platform as Boomi from the drop down here. And then you can just click on ask a question. So here are a few examples I've tried. I asked list all the processes present in this project. It analyzed the repository and listed all the Boomi processes artifacts, for example, the NetSuite customer to Salesforce account sync, the customer to account sync, and more. And then I asked explain the NetSuite customer to Salesforce account sync process. And within just few seconds, it generated a detailed response explaining the purpose of the flow, the high-level overview of how it works, the branches and the connectors being used, the key artifacts and the references, and even the optional notes as well. Now let's look at how to generate the MuleSoft code. First, I'll be using the migration generator to generate the migration documents. Here I'm uploading the same repository which contains all the screenshots and the assets of Boomi. And in the integration platform dropdown, I'm selecting Boomi again. And in the details, I'll be providing some details such as generate for all the processes identified in the documentation and the images. Then I'll just click on submit. After a few minutes, Curie will generate a complete migration document. This document will include the event types, the flow description, the business logics present in this, the detailed input and output schemas, the security, logging, and error handling details, and even a breakdown of the migration logic at the end. So in short, this document gives you a ready-to-use blueprint for your MuleSoft implementation. You can export this document either as HTML, doc, or .md. And here I am exporting this as a markdown file, and then I'm copying all the content which I have received in this for my next process. With the migration document ready, the next step is to generate the actual MuleSoft project. To do that, I'll open the repository coder under the coding agents and then choose no repository, and then I paste the migration document text that we just created. I'm selecting the deploy app option, which ensures the code is compiled before it's generated, and then I'll just click on submit. After a few minutes, you'll see the generated MuleSoft project with all the files that you would expect. For example, the data view transformations, the log4.xml, the global.xml, the configuration files, and the main implementation files and all the .md files as well. You can either download the generated MuleSoft project directly from the browser, or if you prefer, you can use Curitech AI's plugin to apply these changes directly in your IDE. In this case, I'm downloading the project from the browser. Once the download is completed, you can simply import the generated folder into Endpoint Studio. After importing, you'll see all the flows automatically configured in the studio. This is the main implementation file which I'm showing, which contains all the logic that Curie generated during the migration, including the transformation, error handling, and connector configurations. And that's it. Your Boomi flow has now been fully migrated to MuleSoft. With Curitech AI, What once took days of manual effort can now be accomplished in just few hours with clear documentation, generated code, and production ready mule flows.